by. Well, man was made for loving, not buying. Gold can't get the things you really need. Just look, my friends, there's happiness in living. Somewhere between broke and being free. Hello, Mr. Mike here, bringing you yet another Children's Time message. We're apparently in front of a couple display curio cabinets, what they call China cabinets. Here we got a beautiful collection of porcelain dolls. Somebody went to a lot of fairs, a lot of shows, picked out the perfect dolls to display in their house here. How wonderful this is. And we have another one here filled with other classic type looking stuff. And then come December, it has beautiful Christmas scenery in here filled with snow and nativity scenes. I think another level of Santa's workshop, and it's really beautiful. And for now, temporarily, we've got, of course, a couple pineapples. We got one of my plastic pineapples here we got from Amazon or something. I'm not sure. We carry this around with us quite a bit. And we've got here a nice fresh pineapple we picked up from the store yesterday. It's probably going to be part of my dinner a little bit later today. Well, I often get asked, what is with you and those pineapples? How did Pineapple Ministry get its name? Well, I'll try to make a long story short. A few years ago, I played keyboards for a Baptist church here in Hammond. Whenever I played, someone from the congregation would stand at the front of the sanctuary and lead the singing. There was a young girl there, 12 years old, who was a pretty good singer and wanted to lead. The pastor wouldn't allow her to lead because he had a rule that says he only wanted adults to lead in worship and the like. So the girl was disappointed when she brought me her bad news, and I told her, I think he means you'd need adult supervision. Like if you and a few others wanted to start a children's choir, you could, as long as an adult is willing to lead. Well, she immediately ran about the church and grabbed a few others who were interested in singing, came to me and said, here we are, the children's choir. One, they expected me to lead, and they didn't even ask me if I really wanted to, but, well, of course I did. Had a lot of fun. Anyway, well, I did ask an elder about this who gave me the green light to go ahead, and about a month later, we had our first practice. Soon after that, we sang for the first time during a worship service, which can still be seen on my YouTube page, and you can see that, I then refer to them as unofficially, I didn't make sure to say they are unofficially called Pineapple. After we were around a few months and kind of proved we're here to stay, their church leadership decided to recognize us as a real church children's choir. And because the pastor wanted a biblical name attached to us, and I thought Hoffman Street Baptist Church Youth Choir was just too boring of a name, Pastor Dan decided to name us Pineapple for Jesus. That group started a movement for many church groups to follow. And in about the 3 years to follow after everything started rolling, over 50 musicians and singers had made their way through what was to become Pineapple Ministry. So, you're still asking, why the pineapple? I told you I'm getting to that. Just calm down out there. Just calm. We'll get to that. We'll get to that right now, actually. Because the pineapple is the international symbol for hospitality. Back when George Washington was president in the later 1700s, the pineapple costed them about what $8,000 is to us. Or in other words, something only the very rich could afford. Because they were hard to find and the high price, pineapples were originally served only to most honored guests. That idea was made into pineapple images so that those who couldn't afford the fruit itself could still share the idea. Towns, inns, and even individual households would display pictures or carvings of the fruit to show a sense of welcoming. The travelers and those going by, they says, you go by, you are welcome here. This practice was continued on dinnerware, napkins, tablecloths, and even wallpaper. Now, while the Bible doesn't really say anything about pineapples, except that one translation, a passage in Exodus, describes the buttons on the clothes that the priests should wear as looking like pineapples, it does talk quite a bit about hospitality. The story I'm going to look at today has one of my favorite persons mentioned in the Bible, that being the seller of purple goods herself, and all of us say, Lydia. Thanks for joining in on that. That sounded really, really awesome. It's a story from the book of Acts, which talks about when Paul, Silas, and Luke pay her a visit during their travels together. It says, on the Sabbath day, when we went outside the gate to the riverside, where we supposed there was a place of prayer, and we sat down and spoke to the women who had come together. One who heard us was a woman named Lydia from the city of Thyatira. And she's a seller of purple goods, who was a worshiper of God. The Lord opened her heart to pay attention to what was said by Paul. So after this, she was baptized, and all in her household as well. She urged us, saying, if you have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come to my house and stay. And she prevailed upon us. So Paul, Silas, and Luke stayed at Lydia's for some time. She gave them room and board, and so Paul, Silas, and Luke probably stayed in Lydia's home for several days, weeks, or possibly longer. Who knows? But did she serve them any pineapple? I have no idea. But I do know that while the pineapple is the international symbol of hospitality, you don't actually need to serve somebody one or even show one to them in order for you to show them hospitality, welcoming, or grace. Or if you'd like to display a pineapple in order to show your kindness and hospitality, simply be like a pineapple yourself. Stand tall, wear a crown, and be sweet on the inside. And Keyless wanted to show she's wearing a shirt that just happens to say that. What a coincidence that she's wearing that shirt today. How awesome. So let's pray. When I think about your example of love and hospitality, dear God, I realize that love is far more than a warm emotion. It is a deep commitment to look out for another's best interest and even one's own expense. Please teach us to put our pride in our hearts on the line. Please protect us, Lord, as we love others in your name. And all of God's children say,